So Donald Trump faced a major court loss today. Let me read the headlines. Judge orders temporary halt to new construction at Alligator Alcatraz. And if you guys have been following the story, you know that is the prison/detention center in Florida. Here's some more details. The ruling by the U.S. District Court Judge Kathleen Williams came after a 2-day hearing in a lawsuit filed by environmental groups and joined by the Muscogee tribe, right, of Native Americans. And I know how you feel. Every day I wake up too and like I read this news and it doesn't seem real. I mean, we're talking about like Alligator Alcatraz. Like, what the heck is that? Trump is, assaulting daily Americans, be it financially, politically, culturally, any number of ways, violating the Constitution. And the thing is with Trump, he's assembled this, band of unqualified, unethical people. They're all self-serving and greedy, and ultimately this thing is going to collapse in on itself. So it's unsustainable. I just want you guys to understand this.
This is a restoration. So we're going to do two things really well. We're going to do the complex stuff really well. We're at the 200-day mark. In the last 100 days, we did Operation Midnight Hammer with precision. That's complex stuff that only the U.S. military can do. But we're also going to do the basic stuff well. Will, if you start soft, you end soft. If you aren't strong from the beginning, you won't finish the fight properly. It starts at basic training. It starts at our military academies. We are going back to basics. Drill sergeants will be drill sergeants with knife hands who maintain good order and discipline and train up great recruits who will make great formations, just like we need military officers with that same rigorous discipline and background. So we're going back to basics.
Back to basic, guys. People with knife hands. Yes, he really did say that. And this is why I have to show you guys this stuff. It's a combination of scary and lunacy and just pure clowniness nonstop. That's Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, talking about knife hands. Okay, this is what the Republicans are up to today. They're going to try to redraw maps in multiple states. So before it was Texas, we talked about. Now they're looking at Missouri, Indiana, and Ohio. Oh wow, Florida also. So they're trying to cheat in the upcoming election, essentially, because people are figuring out the truth about Trump's policies, that it's terrible for the nation, it's terrible for the world, it's terrible for humanity, to be perfectly frank. All of the nuts, crazy stuff they're trying to do. And I can't stress this stuff enough, guys. You need to be informed and pay attention to what's happening. It really does matter. This is someone in Texas talking about it.
I want everybody to remember Trump's afraid of the voters. He asked Governor Abbott to steal him 5 seats. He is now threatening federal arrest to come get us, force us back in our spot so that he can again do a power grab. None of this is American. All of this sounds like a dictator desperate to hold on to his power, and it should scare everybody in this country that we've reached this point. It is why, as Texas Democrats, we are reaching to the nation to say these are not normal times. Please step up and find the courage to let them know that they have gone way too far.
And that is a Texas Democrat, really calling for Americans to pay attention to what's going on. This is not just a Texas issue. This is a national issue. And again, now the Republicans are looking to redraw maps and steal seats in multiple states, as we talked about. How does Trump keep this sort of clown show going? So this was tweeted out by the White House today. It says, Mr. President, you gain 10 times more income for the average family than Joe Biden. It's like, okay. Look at this. This is how Trump lives in his delusional world. Watch this.
And so I called the president because I had some very good news from some new data that we've been able to put together that no one has ever seen before. And I'll just very quickly go through these. So I was telling the president that he did the right thing in calling for a new head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
So new data that no one has ever seen before. That's after Trump fires the Bureau of Labor Statistics person. I'm sure he's going to bring his own people and start feeding them a bunch of nonsense numbers. And this is an example of what it's like. And it's interesting because you've heard about this kind of stuff, but to actually see how they present stuff to Trump and how he takes it.
With Joe Biden, which was a measly $551. So, Mr. President, you gain 10 times more income for the average family than Joe Biden. It's because of your policies.
And that's taken into consideration COVID.
Yep.
which a lot of times you don't have to do that, but
Because we were
I'm very glad you did.
We were
yeah.
over
No, we were
almost 8,000 until.
Look at that number.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
There he goes, and he puts the
then
card
we
on his
looked
desk
at,
or whatever.
which families did the best, and we have data from the.
Honestly, like, this feels like a Saturday Night Live skit. Like it doesn't even feel real. It's so stupid. And they show them as, whatever numbers they can all the time, and just tell everyone, oh my God, you're so much better than Biden. You're more handsome than Biden. Even you're taller than Biden. That's what it ends up being. Trump's got a real mental thing to where, he got less votes than Biden, and that really upsets him. And he'll never be able to get more votes than Biden. He'll never be able to do it. And he's always upset by that. So then he needs all these people to come in and just tell him like how awesome he is compared to Biden. He's got this real mental problem. You can just see it.
These are the numbers just I just showed you in percentage terms. Mr. President, these are the numbers in dollar terms. So even the lowest income 25th.
And of course, they're going to show you whatever chart is that the red people are beating the blue people. It's like this weird game show thing. None of it really makes sense. And you have to understand from the Republican point of view, they're out there to serve the billionaire class, Elon Musk, the Trumps. For example, watch this.
Why did you cut SNAP and healthcare research?
We do not have unlimited money in the United States.
So we don't have unlimited money in the United States, right? That was their explanation. We talked about this before in a prior video. You guys can find that video. Please watch it if you haven't already. Now, just think about this, okay? So from the Republican point of view, we can't pay for food or healthcare. We just don't have enough money. But you know what they always have money for? Listen to Pete Hegseth.
We've got the best equipment, the best capabilities in the world. We're on hyperdrive. The one big beautiful bill that was passed gives us $150 billion more to invest in Golden Dome, in hypersonics, in securing our border, in long-range drones. You name it, submarines, we're investing in it, and it'll be sourced in America. Our logistics train, where we get all the aspects of the things we make, has to be sourced here. We're doing it. Our allies and adversaries understand that, and that only makes us more independent, more able to put America first, to drive peace through strength, and it's happening every day.
Happening every day, right? So he's bragging about $150 billion for the military, but I just heard we don't have unlimited money. And to put this in perspective, guys, this is all about priorities. So this was a headline last month. Trump's big beautiful bill cuts food stamps for millions. From again, food stamps, food for people, regular people. The average family may lose $146 per month, report finds. And to look at the numbers here, so we're talking about $186 billion, which could have gone to food for people. Whereas, hey, we happen to have $150 billion if you want to build golden domes. That's seriously what they're talking about. It's like this Star Wars thing that Reagan tried to do, missile defense stuff. It's not going to work. It's just going to be a bunch of money to your buddies who, like Elon Musk, who say, hey, I got these AI satellites and stuff like that, and I could use that billions of dollars. Well, why not? And people who need food, we don't have unlimited money, guys. And I hope you guys understand this. I'm making jokes, but I hope you make it's really clear. Under Trump's policy, there's always money for private prisons, military, deportations, this kind of stuff, and there's never enough money for food or healthcare or education. It's all about cuts for that. Going on with the Alcatraz prison thing, which we talked about. Let me read a little bit more details because I know people want to hear about this. This is what it says. It says from the Florida State Rep, Anna Escamani. She says, this facility is not only a threat to one of the most environmentally sensitive regions in the country, it is also a glaring example of how far the state of Florida will go to criminalize immigrants and ignore the long-term health of our natural resources. And so what's going on is, I wish we would just close this thing based on human rights. But I understand, right? They have to get it on something as quickly as possible and go with environmental, which I think is actually reasonable, because my understanding of how Florida did it is they seized the land. I think it was like this marsh area, essentially. And when you do these things so quickly and you construct it in a way that they did as fast as possible, and then it's not even suitable for people to be there at all. There's not enough bathrooms and such and such. this is sort of the world that you get, right? This stuff was barely planned, and then the things that they put in there and the way that they do it is run by incompetent and unethical people. So there's that. On top of that, and I know there's always stuff to go over, but I just want you guys to understand this stuff. This also came out, and I looked at it before, and I've seen multiple stories of this, but I just want you to understand like how awful and egregious, breaking the Constitution that they're doing. So it says migrants vanish into opaque ICE detention system. And so what it is they'll arrest people without due process, right? Sometimes you don't even know what you're being charged, and then they'll shuffle you around to various private prisons. So for example, it says when immigration lawyers sought to defend a North Texas construction worker detained in early March, they couldn't find him, right? So lawyers don't even know where their client is. ICE, right, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, records initially showed that Felix Morales Reyna, a 20-year-old Mexican father, was in Alvarado, Texas, 30 miles south of his home in Fort Worth, paralegal Andrea Vila said. But he was actually more than 200 miles north in Cushing, Oklahoma. By the time her firm found Morales, he had been moved to Aurora, Colorado, but his case had inexplicably moved to Anson, Texas. Like they're so they're trying to, do this in such a corrupt way. They're moving these people like all over the place, again, arresting without due process, and people are just disappearing. This is a real problem. And then in order to maintain power, the Republican plan is, hey guys, I'm going to redraw the maps and steal seats. I try my best to communicate everything, what's going on. It's so much always to talk about every day. But understand this, there are other people in this fight also to tell you the truth. I'm just going to point to South Park. If you haven't seen the last episode, you can take a look at it. They talk about ICE, also make fun of Kristi Noem, who frankly deserves to be made fun of. And for some people, humor is the best way to address these very serious concerns in USA. Other people, it's get really, really angry. For me, I just try to be honest with you guys on this stuff. It is such an awful thing that the Trump people are doing, but you're not alone. There are people fighting back, and this is sort of why you need to stay informed to understand what's going on. And I'll just say this, especially if you're in some of the states mentioned to where they're going to try to redistrict, you got to be active in this stuff and don't let the Republicans steal seats and continue to do their policy that's effectively destroying everything. I mean, you can see it, you're watching it live, and I just never thought I would see this stuff in my lifetime. So please share your thoughts. I do appreciate your time, and I'll catch you on the next video.